Look, I'm not pissed to the point where I'm annoyed and I'm going to call people out their names, or especially people that I love, like the person I'm about to talk about in a few minutes. But certain things need to be corrected for the record because certain people, certain things people are just ill-informed about. And the publications that grab the headlines and try to manipulate things and make things seem as if there's something that they're not. I understand that some folks are desperate for clickbait. That's how they do it. They don't care about accuracy. They just care about talking shit and not knowing what the hell they're talking about. So I'm here for it. And that's fine because that's one of the reasons I'm in good shape, because I don't hold stuff inside all the time and let stuff foment and ultimately an implosion takes place and I'm the one that suffers because I'm unhealthy. No, I believe, and as I've said this to family and friends throughout my life, I believe the best form of stress relief is reciprocation. When people stress you, stress the hell out of them. And that's how you'll alleviate your stress, because they'll know stress is coming down the pike and they won't want the damn trouble. So maybe they won't bring you trouble. But I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And it's regarding the subject of Caitlin Clark. For those of you who don't know, she's a former star at Iowa in college. Played in the national championship game before losing to South Carolina. She's #1 overall pick for the WNBA draft. She is a special talent, to say the least, even though she's not having a special year because the Indiana Fever are stinking up the joint. They've got the second worst record in the league. Only the Washington Mystics are worse, who are 0-8. The Indiana Fever are 0-9. But that's not the story involving Caitlin Clark and all the drama that surrounds her on this particular day. As we get started to talk about this hot topic, that is Caitlin Clark, let's put it in its proper perspective. The Indiana Fever rookie was fouled Saturday night by Chicago Sky guard Kennedy Carter on an inbounds play. The foul was later upgraded to a flagrant 1 violation after league review the very next day. Fever head coach Christy Side said she's been sending plays to the league for review when asked about the treatment of her star rookie. The play itself and overall treatment of Clark has had social media buzzing. We've all been buzzing about it, okay? But there was another individual that was buzzing about it for a different reason, and that's my boy Matt Barnes from the All the Smoke podcast. He weighed in on it this weekend, and before I do anything, I want to show you what he had to say. Check out his thoughts.
There's a hot topic going on right now. Caitlin Clark says she got cheap shotted against the Sky. I mean, throughout the season, she's been getting beat up. Hard screens, elbows, knocked down. It is what it is. She's not the first. She won't be the last. My issue and my question is, where the fuck are her teammates at? Where y'all at? Where the rest of the Indiana Fever at? I've seen a couple girls smirk when she's got knocked down, half-assed to pick her up. Like, y'all supposed to protect the asset, protect the star. And all this is the team. She's the star. You always protect your star. I was someone who protected the stars. You fuck with Kobe, CP, Blake, list goes on. It's going to be a problem because you guys are supposed to be a family. And you wonder why you sit at the bottom of the league right now is because y'all don't protect each other, man. Coach don't do shit about it. Players don't do shit about it. Y'all should be ashamed of it. But the rest of the league is going to continue to test her. And that's what they're supposed to do. It's your guys' fucking job to have her back and have each other's back. Got to do better, ladies.
I 1,000% agree with Matt Barnes. Every syllable that he uttered. I don't think the coach will be coaching the Indiana Fever after this year, assuming she lasts this year. I thought it was very tepid response at this time, at this particular moment. I mean, we've sent tape to the league. We've complained with the league. Please, we didn't know about it. Where's the noise? You got a girl here who's box office in Caitlin Clark. She is box office. We can lament it all we want to, but the fact of the matter is Caitlin Clark is box office. And we got to get that out the way. And I'll get into all of that a little bit more in just a second because it's very, very important that we point this out. She fills seats. She brings the cameras. She brings national publicity. It's what she does. Now, as a player, let's understand this about Caitlin Clark. #1 overall pick, on pace to become the first rookie ever to average at least 15 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. But she also leads the league with 5.4 turnovers per game, 1.3 more than any other player in the league. She's shooting just under 36% from the field and 30% from three-point range, which is not impressive. Of the 21 players averaging at least 15 points per game, Clark has the third worst field goal percentage at 35.7%. She also has more technical fouls with 3 than the Indiana Fever has wins right now, with two, which is very, very bad, by the way. but understandable. Because if you're losing that much, it stands to reason that you're a high-end competitor like she is, you're going to get caught for some technical fouls. She struggled with physical defense she's faced at the professional level and voiced frustration with the league's officiating, recently telling reporters, quote, "I feel like I'm getting hammered and everybody is physical with me, and opponents get away with things that other people don't get away with." That's what Caitlin Clark said. That is what she said, okay? But to me, it's a bigger issue going on. And when this happened and that girl, Kennedy Carter, pushed her in the back like that, it was a cheap shot. It was not a basketball play. She should have been ejected, number one. Number two, there should have been a fine that was incurred thereafter. Number three, not to say that there won't be or hasn't been at this moment in time, I don't know of one. I know the team was fined for media availability purposes because people weren't available to talk. I know Angel Reese was also going to be fined because she didn't make herself available for the media as well. And I get all of that as well. We understand it. We see it for what it is. It is what it is. I'm saying this. It's important that we point this out. One of the things that I brought up this morning in talking about Caitlin Clark is that some of the players, you want to use the word jealousy, fine. You want to use the word envy, fine. You want to use the word resentment. We want to play with words. That's cool. It's something. And I think that some of the ladies, not all, but some of the ladies in the WNBA are missing the point. And the point is, this girl right here is a box office attraction. And because of her box office attraction, it's generating more eyeballs to the WNBA product, therefore more revenue for the WNBA product. Don't you think y'all are going to benefit from that too? Look at the big picture. That's what I was talking about when I was talking about it this morning on my day job, First Take on ESPN every weekday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. A rising tide raises all boats. If Caitlin Clark is the quote-unquote savior, if she's the golden girl, milk it. Now, it's just an opinion, albeit I believe an educated one. But this girl that comes away from comes out of college, who happens to be white, who's already making buku dollars, the maximum salary in the WNBA is $250,000. If I remember correctly, Caitlin Clark signed a $28 million endorsement deal. Well, nobody in the WNBA getting that. Nobody's gotten that yet but her. Asia Wilson is the superstar in the NBA, in the WNBA. She's a two-time champion. This girl is legit. She's the real deal. And those kind of endorsements and all of that stuff ain't come her way, even though some has come away. Flaja Johnson out of LSU is going to get her bag. She already got NIL deals. She's also a hip-hop artist. We're seeing women get shine. We're seeing their shine elevate. It's deserving. It's long overdue. But the fact is, it's long overdue. And because it's long overdue, it begs the question, why the hell didn't it arrive earlier? Because you didn't have Caitlin Clark earlier. Now, what's the difference between her and a Diana Taurasi or a Sue Bird or Brianna Stewart or somebody else or UNESCO or somebody? Y'all talk about that. The fact of the matter is, the kind of stuff that's happening and has been happening over the last few months is because of Caitlin Clark. I got some of the stats in front of me to validate it. Because you see, I bring receipts. And I'll get to why I'm really pissed off in a few minutes. WNBA Draft 2024 drew 2.446 million viewers to ESPN on Monday night, making it the most watched draft in WNBA history. Who's the number one overall pick? Huh, Aaron? Who's the number one overall pick? Say it louder. Caitlin Clark, the number one overall pick. This is coincidence, huh? It's just coincidence, huh? Of course it's not. Highest rated draft in history because of Caitlin Clark. WNBA TV ratings for this season. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know it skyrocketed? ABC announced it had its most viewed opening weekend doubleheader ever, with two games combined to average 1.5 million viewers. That marks a 143% increase from a WNBA doubleheader on ABC a year ago. Did you know that? Did you know that? Did you know that? Well, you know it now. Last stat, just to throw this out there. Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever has been involved in 3. Now, mind you, the same Indiana team that started out 1-7. The same Indiana team that lost their first 3 of their four games of the season. The same Indiana Fever that has the second worst record in WNBA basketball right now. The only team worse than them in the entire league is the Washington Mystics, who are winless in 8 games. The second worst team in the league is the Indiana Fever, led by Caitlin Clark. Did you know that the Fever has been involved in 3 of the 4 TV games that have garnered 1.3 million average viewers this season? Entering this past weekend. These are the most watched WNBA games, are you ready for this? In over 2 decades. The Indiana Fever, 2-9. By the way, Indiana's a small market. It ain't New York City, ain't LA, ain't Chicago. It's not the Sky, it's not the Liberty, it's not the Sparks. We're talking about the Indiana Fever, led by a girl that was playing at Iowa, is producing the most watched WNBA games in over 2 decades. What does that tell you? That tells you that before Caitlin Clark came along, it wasn't nearly as popular. It doesn't mean it wasn't growing in popularity over the last 2 to 3 years. But 3 years ago, WNBA was an afterthought. A little bit less than that, there were thoughts of this team being defunct and going away. Nobody cared. And I don't mean that literally. I mean by and large. And I'm going to say something that was very unpopular then. It'll be unpopular now, but I don't give a damn because it's a fact. Where are the ladies? The sport, I'm not talking about right now. I'm talking about in the past when it wasn't as popular. The men have their sports. Do you know why men's sports became exponentially more popular? Because of women. It was more women watching NBA games. It was more women watching NFL games. That's how it became more popular. Well, ladies, if you help the NFL get more popular and you help the NBA get more popular, how come you didn't help the WNBA get more popular until recently? You did that. The men are the men. But the women rule. When women support you, you win. Everything shows that. It happens in sports. It happens in business. It happens in television. When women watching you, when women are listening to you, you win. Every superstar you could possibly fathom got it good with the ladies. The ladies support them. I don't care who you pick. Pick a superstar. Pick a mega superstar and tell me where they're lacking female support. 25 to 54 demographic, 18 to 34 demographic. The list goes on and on. When the women support you, you win. You even win elections. You don't win elections because the men support you. For the most part, from what I've been told, you win it when the women come out and support you. Women know this. So why was the WNBA not popular all of these years? So when I go on national television and I bring up jealousy, envy, resentment, or whatever, I'm not saying it's not justified. If you are a WNBA player and you resent Caitlin Clark, it makes perfect sense. Because she's white and she's the golden girl that's considered the marketing savior for the sport. Yes, they were talking about chartered flights before she ever came along and opened her mouth. But shortly after Caitlin Clark opened her mouth, you had chartered flights. And you ain't have it in 2 decades. She's got that kind of influence, that kind of power. I wasn't trying to say that women, black, white, and everything in between associated with the WNBA was wrong and shouldn't feel resentment after all that hard work you put in. to pound the pavement and to be the great players that you are and the great basketball ambassadors that you are, what you've done for this sport, of course you should feel resentful. Of course you should. What I'm saying is don't be blind. There's an opening. Exploit it. Rather than be resentful, envious, jealous, whatever word is applicable. Notice the opening. Caitlin Clark is bringing more attention. When you get on the court with her and you perform, and somehow, some way, you'll find a way to attach yourself to that level of magnetism that she surely has. Who knows what could be out there for you? And if suddenly the maximum salary goes from $250,000 to $450,000, and suddenly you're on charter jets instead of commercial flights, and suddenly you're maximizing the potential of your name, image, and likeness, what do you care? At the end of the day, the rising tide lifts all boats. And I'm able to get personal about it. How many times did I tell y'all when ESPN signed Pat McAfee, nobody was happier than me? Shannon Sharp did, and he getting his shine. Nobody's happier than me. Ryan Clark got a new deal. Nobody's happier than me. Troy Aikman got a deal. Joe Buck got a deal. Kirk Herbstreit got a deal. Tom Brady got a deal. Tony Romo got his deal. Because they're setting the market. Why do you think I've had the smile on my face all of these months? Because I believe it's my turn. Has nothing to do with Disney. Has nothing to do with ESPN. It has everything to do with the industry. If I'm an NBA player and I've just won a championship and somebody who didn't win gets $50 million a year doing what I do, what do you think I'm going to think I'm worth? See how simple it is? It's capitalism. It's marketability. It's taking advantage of the moment. That's business. Why be resentful of any of them? I throw out names like the McAfees and the Aikmans and all of these folks, even the Joe Rogans of the world and everybody else. I couldn't be more thankful. You're setting the market. That's business. What is wrong with people? How do you not see that? You didn't hurt Caitlin Clark. You didn't chop at her knees or anything like that, Kennedy Carter. So that's cool. It was a Bush League play. It wasn't a basketball play and all of this other stuff. But at the end of the day, all I'm saying is, for you, because I saw reports that you called her the B word before you shoved her in the side, hip checked her. But before, just in case resentment, jealousy, envy, or whatever it is applicable, because I don't know which one it is, just in case. All I'm saying is, hold up, ladies. There's an opportunity here. Go for it. Let that girl shine. I'm not talking about on the court. You compete against her. You try to take her out. Try to beat her. I get that part. But I'm talking about let that girl shine marketing-wise. Let her get her bag. Find a way to maximize off of it and create an opening for yourself so you can get yours. That's the American way. Hell, that's the global way.